What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the MedSpa Accelerator podcast. I'm here with our co-host, Maripili Menchaca, who is our COO at Everbowl, and is also my lovely wife.
I love that you say that every time.
Awesome. I kind of have to, you know.
It's actually in the script.
It's in the script. It's too funny. And so, where we been, babe?
It's been a while since we recorded our last episode.
Yeah.
But we actually have been doing a lot. I feel like since June, we went on vacation, which was very much needed.
Yes.
We kind of took a week off and traveled through Mexico, which was amazing.
We got to go to like 3 different states. It was pretty awesome.
Yes. I'm from Mexico, and still I didn't know a lot of it, so that was really fun.
Yeah.
And also seeing it like from a new perspective, going with you, that was really nice.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But then we also stayed in Mexico for 2 more weeks.
Yeah, so we stayed in Mexico City for 2 more weeks, and that was mainly because we have not all of our team members, but some of our team members actually are based in Mexico City. And so we stayed 2 additional weeks. One, because I wanted to get, I guess, I don't know, both of us. You were born in Mexico City, but you only stayed there till you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
And then I had never really had like big city living, so I wanted to get that experience. But then on top of that, we wanted just to spend some time with our team members there, build some more culture, and got to work with them on the day-to-day. Yeah. So that was really, really fun.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, towards the end of that trip, end of those 2 weeks, we did end up getting pretty sick, and so that kind of sucked.
Yes.
And then so all that traveling, we got back, and we were still like kind of getting into the flow of things.
Yeah.
But then since we were sick and we were tired from the trip and stuff like that, we ended up just saying, hey, you know what? Let's just kind of take July off and really just focus in on Everbowl and the podcast and what we want to do, like what the vision is, what we want to do coming forward. So what we have for you guys today is like version 2.0, or I guess you want to call it like season 2 of the podcast. So yeah.
Just like the CoolSculpting season, we had to take a break.
You guys that have CoolSculpting know what we're talking about. I think all MedSpas kind of experience that downturn during the summer.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today?
Well, today we actually have a really cool topic. We have been going around to see our clients, and we also do a lot of video for them.
Yes.
We bring our video producer and animator with us, and we know the importance of video in your practice. So we want to share a little tips and tricks about how to get more video testimonials.
Yeah. So I think in some of the other episodes, we definitely, I know Cassie and I have definitely talked a lot about like the importance of video and how we were using video in regards to marketing and stuff like that. We've definitely talked a little bit about video testimonials, but today we want to give you exactly like the how to, how to get more video testimonials for your MedSpa.
Let's just refresh a little bit. Like, why are video testimonials good?
Yeah, so first of all, again, like nothing really trumps video, at least in our opinion and based off our experience and what we've seen, like mainly because it gives your practice a lot of social proof. And so, when we do marketing, we do business with our clients, I always talk about like our business philosophy, right? What we believe in, which is we do business with people we know, we like, and we trust, right? And so everything we do around marketing revolves around that principle. Mm-hmm. And so the idea is that if you can get somebody to like you, right, then it's most likely they're going to do business with you. And if you can maintain that relationship and if you provide a good service, then they're probably going to work with you for a pretty long time, right? And so we know that at the end of the day, business really is based on relationships, and so that business idea, that fundamental in business, we try to bring that into what we're doing in marketing and advertising and understand that it's not a one-way communication where you're just putting out an ad. You're trying to have a two-way conversation with people, even in this digital realm per se, right?
That's what I was going to say, actually. In this digital world, everything is written, and you do want to start that you want to stand out, first of all.
Yeah.
and you also want to start that relationship pretty early on.
Yes.
And for a local business where you actually have to bring people in, a lot of business owners feel that relationship starts with somebody walks in the door. But honestly, it can start way sooner than that.
Yeah.
So when people go to your online profile, I mean, and a lot of digital platforms are now accommodating for video because they know the importance of it.
Yeah,
so
100%.
even Google, like, you know, the Google listing, it's actually now adding so many more features for video.
Yeah. I mean, this is where it's going, guys. If the platform didn't have video before, it's starting to integrate video into everything that they're doing, right? And I feel like this principle also, like just as a quick kind of like insert here, like I feel like this principle even holds more true if you're a local business. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just 10 times more important or 100 times more important, right? Building this relationship with your audience and doing it digitally, like Billy said, right? It doesn't start when somebody walks into the door. It starts with your online presence, right? And so video is going to be the best way for you to build social proof, you know, in your business so that you can have a competitive advantage, especially in these like local markets, right? Like you want other people to see you with people that they can relate with, right? And that's going to build social proof. So they, oh, you know what? Like if, you know, especially when it comes to video testimonials, if that person did business with you, let's say you're a patient, right? And they got the result they're looking for, and I'm exactly like that person, then you know what? This business can probably solve my problem too, right? In this case, this MedSpa can, you know, help my skin glow a lot more, help me look more younger, or help me get rid of the stubborn fat, you know, whatever it is that you're doing,
it starts building that credibility that these technologies and these services actually work.
Yeah.
There are so many like shenanigans out there and people don't know if it's going to work for them.
Yeah.
But if they actually see it, then they'll be more than likely to go and check out your services. And
and we can't, you know, and we talk about video a lot, and this is why it's so important, because of the fact that like this is such a new industry, right? This is such a new industry where the technology is advancing and there's new pieces of equipment that is being released every single month, right? That people are still confused, like, you know, or they still don't fully know what these technologies can do. It's like micro needling or like PDO threads, you know, whatever, you know, and like, and so education is key. And then you want to have those videos to build credibility and have people kind of see who you are. And then another side note here, when it kind of talks about like the business philosophy and how video kind of relates to that, is that when somebody sees you on camera, they're going to see you, you know, your authentic self, you know, for the most part, right? We always tell people, hey, it's okay if you're not 100% like camera ready or whatever, just be yourself and people are going to be drawn to you. And that's the thing, the video does that really, really well, because people are going to get to see you, your personality, your authentic self, and two things are going to happen. One, you're going to appeal to the people that are kind of like you and that maybe share your same beliefs and that just start to like you as a person based by what they've seen in the video.
Yeah.
And then two, it's going to repel those people that you probably didn't want as clients in the first place.
Yeah.
Because which is a good thing, right? Because you don't want those people in your practice, because those are going to be your bad clients. You know, people ask us all the time.
They're going to give you a headache.
Yeah, they're going to give you a hard time. Like those people, you don't want them. And you know what? It's probably because they don't like you. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like you don't have to try to appeal to the masses. You just need to appeal to the right type of people.
Your ideal client.
100%. Yeah.
So going back to like video testimonials, like there are some challenges, and we hear this from our clients as well. Like, okay, fine, I understand. I need more video. I bought a good camera for this. I'm ready to go. But how do I get actually people to want to do a testimonial for me? Yeah,
and so we tend to see two things when it comes to like the different challenges when it comes to getting video, right? One is like, you know, people want their privacy, so that's why it's also hard a lot of times to get reviews, or they don't want to just be on camera because they're camera shy, or they don't feel comfortable that this video is going to be online somewhere, stuff like that. And then the second issue that we tend to see, and this really goes back down to services that you don't fully see results from right away. Like CoolSculpting is a good example, or any fat, you know, like, MSculpt, like fat reduction technologies, because you get the treatment done, and then you don't really see the results till like 4 to 12 weeks after.
Or even some sort of microneedling.
Yeah,
you
that's true.
Got out of your...
you just got out of your treatment, you're like all red, you know what I mean? Like it's obviously it's not the best time to be on camera. But we have some, and then I think the other thing too is like people don't know, okay, well, what should I ask people like on the video, right? And so make sure to stay till the end of the video, guys, because we're going to talk about that. And then we're also going to give you guys some downloadable content that you can check out. But let's address these challenges. Like, I think for the first one, I would say when it comes to people's privacy, first of all, I want to say that, you're 100% right. Like people want their privacy, but there's that big but. There's always going to be that one person that is going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with you asking. And I think this is where like people kind of like have trouble a lot of times.
And I was going to say, even before going into that challenge of like their privacy, I think the number one thing is that people are afraid of asking.
For sure.
To get a video testimonial from
somebody. And you kind of, people going with the mindset of like, oh, I'm not even going to ask because you know what, they're probably going to say no.
Right.
But here's the reality, guys. You don't know if they're going to say no.
Yeah. It could probably be into the camera and you don't really know.
Like they might be like super serious, but then when that camera turns on, they're like a different person. We've seen that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Those like your introverts right there.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, guys. You don't know if actually somebody's going to say no until you ask. And guess what? If you ask and they say no, no big deal.
Yeah, you don't lose anything, really.
You won't lose anything.
But I think it's really important. That's why going back to start building that relationship. Because if you start building that relationship, they're already excited about the treatment. They're already excited about you and your practice and what it's going to do for them, the change that it's going to do for them in their confidence or whatever that might look like for them. And they're more than willing to actually do it.
And obviously, like, you don't want to ask, like, you're a first-time visitor that comes.
I was going to say, this is a really funny story.
Yeah, that's funny. We have, like, this experience that we had when we were visiting one of our clients a few months ago. I'll share that in a minute. I mean, in most circumstances, you won't always want to ask your first-time visitors unless you build some, like, really great rapport with them, right?
You're going to feel that throughout like, the consultation, the service. Sure. Just, I guess, kind of be attentive to those cues of like, this person might actually want to do something.
Or they might be okay with doing a video, right? And so, I mean, rule of thumb is obviously go with somebody you already have a relationship with, like maybe a good friend or something like that, or somebody who's been a client for a long time. Those are always going to be like your fail-safes, right? So that's definitely one thing, but always just asking, guys. Like, there's something first step is just asking if they're willing to do a video testimonial. Super quick, doesn't have to be more than a minute. And here's the thing, like, one video testimonial can do wonders for you guys. So don't diminish the value of that, because one great piece of content can make you guys thousands of dollars. And I mean that with full seriousness. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But, I'm being like super serious. Like one great piece of content can make you guys thousands upon thousands of dollars.
You can use that not only as a social proof, but you can use it for an ad.
You can use it as an ad. You can put it up on your website, on your landing pages. Use it as part of your email nurturing campaigns.
Right. Which could actually make you some money.
Yeah, 100%. And so first step, ask. Right?
I was gonna add something in there.
Sure.
Also, like the way you ask, I feel like a lot of people they might say no because either they want their privacy, like we said, or they're camera shy. But it could also be that they might need a little bit more of like they want to know what they're getting into. So maybe when you're asking, you could also tell them a 1, 2, 3 type of like, oh, this is what we're gonna do. This is what I need it for. This is why it's gonna help me. So you put them in that also mindset of like, hey, you're actually helping me out, and they're gonna feel more like involved in the business as well.
For sure. Yeah, kind of like include them as to why you're doing it. And I think that'll kind of go a long way as well.
I want them to know that it's not a big production.
Yeah.
It's not something huge. It's just something like,
if you grab your phone or grab your camera and just point and shoot.
Yes, exactly.
Or you can even do it with them. Like you can do like a selfie, and that way they don't feel like you just kind of have the camera like right in front of them. Just like be in the frame with them. If you're just doing it like this, that'll work out.
Or having somebody from your practice or your staff kind of just shoot
Exactly.
and you're asking them questions, so they'll feel more included and they won't feel like it's a solo interview.
Yeah, so yeah, for sure, 100%. So those are really good, right? Second thing is, if you can always try this. I mean, I always say, don't, like, first rule of thumb, don't, if you don't have to, then don't do it. But if you feel like you need to, you can always incentivize them, whether it's maybe just hooking them up with like something that doesn't cost you that much, like a free microderm, or just something else like a massage. I don't know, whatever your service like that you provide. I have other clients that maybe say, hey, you know, we'll give you a free, like a $5 Starbucks or $10 Starbucks gift card or something like that. You can always try incentivizing them and giving them a, you know, a reason to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, don't make it sound like a bribe. You know, like, because that's what we don't want. We want an authentic testimonial.
For sure.
And you can actually like ask them like, hey, this is what I need from you. This is how it's gonna go down. This is what's gonna happen. Once they say yes, I think you should say like, or like kind of like almost starting to say yes. Be like, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I would like to give you a free dermaplaning or whatever that is.
Yeah.
So you know, you're just thanking them for their time.
For sure. Yeah, that'd be good. And then next time we're going to do another video testimony.
Maybe they get another service. You know?
Yeah. So I feel like that kind of addresses like the issue with like privacy, and then not, you know, just asking people and people being willing to do it. The second one we had talked about is like waiting for results, right? Mm-hmm. And so our solution to that, and what we've kind of seen work, is that you want to try to grab 2 testimonials, right? And I would say, get the testimonial up front, you know, because that way at least you have that one testimonial. And then, you know, if they come back for 12 weeks later to get their before and after photos, then you can do another video testimonial then, depending on how their results went. But at least you have that initial testimonial when they're getting that treatment done. Yeah. And that will actually do a lot for you guys as well, right? And you can ask like a series of questions just to see like, hey, how are you doing? How does the treatment feel? Because other people are then going to see that video of that person getting treated, and they're going to see how easy, you know, that getting that treatment was done. And that's going to give a lot of like behind the scenes type of shots of like somebody getting that treatment, like, oh, you know what, that looks super like comforting. Like I would probably want to want to get that too, you know what I mean? Like, or I've been interested in getting that. I never really knew how it worked, but now I know because I'm seeing these videos and I want to get it done.
Right, so it becomes not only a testimonial video, but also an educational one.
For sure, yeah.
And a promotional one, even if you don't have a promotion going on. So there you go.
Yeah, that's really, really good. So I mean, again, guys, don't be afraid to ask. Make sure that you always just ask. Make sure, you know, make them feel comfortable. You can give them an incentive if you want to. Get in the camera with them and then ask them those questions if you want.
Right.
And lastly, you know, get the video testimonial up front when they're there getting the treatment, right? And you know, just, you know, worst case scenario, if they still don't want to do it, like you can always tell them, hey, well, you know what, we'll blur you out. We've had some clients that have done that before. It's obviously it's better if you don't blur them out, but that's also kind of like something else that you can do to still get that video testimonial and still leverage it for what you're doing.
Right,
so yeah.
Right. Whenever we also do like some photo shoots for our clients, and then just to use those photos for their Instagram, we do have we've had certain situations where like the client is like, yes, I'm okay with you taking pictures, but can you not show my face?
Yeah.
And I mean, there are angles that we can use and still get those really good pictures.
Yeah, good shots.
So,
yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, you can go around it.
Yeah, there's ways around it.
Accommodate them.
Yeah.
Yes. If they said yes or they're almost about to say yes, you can accommodate them.
For sure.
So, okay. We talked about the challenges. We talked about what we can do, and we have somebody that is ready to get that video testimonial. What should I ask though?
Yeah, good questions. So I always say, like, rule of thumb, there's always like at least you want to ask these 3 questions, and this is if you're getting that testimonial up front, that I think will work really, really well for you guys.
Yeah.
So first of all, like the first question that I would say is like, well, hey, why did you decide to get this treatment? Right, and this will go a long way depending if they're getting, you know, injectables, if they're getting something like CoolSculpting or MSculpt done, or some other type of laser service, right? Why did you decide to get this service? And really the goal of that question is to get them to talk a little bit about their own personal story and figure out like what drove them, what did they dislike, or what was going on in their life that made them want to get this treatment done now, you know, versus like, you know,
what
later.
Problem did they want solved?
Yeah, that was the main thing. Like, what problem did they have, right? Because the service that you're providing is basically, at the end of the day, it's solving a problem that they had. Right. So what was the problem? That's what you want to try to figure out, right? So, you know, why did they decide to get this treatment done? And then the second piece to that is that you want to say, well, why did you decide to get this done with us? Okay. And that's really I think a really good question, because in today's age, right, you have a lot of competitors, right? You know, there's somebody down the street that can probably provide the same service as you, and maybe has, you know, also a really nice looking spa, a really great staff that are really experienced, all that stuff. So you want to have that person tell the person that's going to be watching the video in the future, tell them why they decided to get it done with you versus anybody else. And then, you know, obviously they use their own words, right? They say, oh, I came in, you know, I was treated very nicely. The location's really, really great. They made me feel really, really comfortable. All of that stuff, right? So that's that second question. Why did you decide to get this treatment done with us versus somebody else, right? And then the last question is, you want to ask them how they felt, you know, like, how did they feel? How did you, like, especially like in that first video when they're doing the treatment, you know, how did it feel to get the treatment? And then that's just going to make the person watching the video also feel at ease, so that they know that if they go get that treatment done, right, they're going to feel good too. So why did you decide to get this treatment? Try to identify the problem. Why did you decide to do it with us, which is going to turn into a testimony about your practice. And that first one is also a testimony about that service, right? And then the last one is, how did you feel, right? How did that make you feel? If you can just ask these 3 questions, you're going to be golden. But I want to encourage you guys to check out and go download the piece of content, because we have 2 additional questions that we're not covering in the podcast. You have to go and download that piece of content, right?
Yes, and it's also really good, because then you can have it there, have it print out, and then whenever somebody does say like, yes, I'm ready to do a testimonial, you can just get that out.
You can print it out, you can bring it up on your phone, and then just ask those questions. I know it happens to me, like I have these questions off the top of my mind, and then I start doing the interview, and then I just blank out.
Yes, you want to be ready.
Yeah, so you want to be ready, and then you can just pull those questions up on your phone or iPad, or print it out like Billy said. And that will actually do wonders for you guys. Now, my last tip for you all is, when you're shooting the video, just at the very end, just ask them, like, can you please state your name? And then ask them, are you okay with us, you know, using this video or publishing this video and using it for marketing? And then just, you want them to be on camera saying yes to that. Alternatively, you can also print out like a release form, and then like a photo, and then have them sign that too. You know, that's always just going to keep you guys safe and not have any issues in the future.
Yeah. Either way, having it on camera is also fine.
Yeah. So both of those you might want, you know, definitely check.
But yeah, definitely go check that out. And the link in the description below. If you're watching this on YouTube, or if you are listening in, then the link is also on the podcast show notes. And check that out, because we not only have the questions, we have the guideline, and we have a little bit extra in there, so you can also tell your client how, like, just give them a little bit more information as to how they can respond, you know? Yeah. So they feel a little bit more comfortable and at ease.
Awesome. Definitely, guys. So go check that out. And, you know, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure that you keep tuning in. We're going to be releasing episodes here on a weekly basis, still going on with season 2 of the podcast. We're going to have some special guests coming up. So that's going to be really, really cool. And if you have any questions, you have any ideas, or, you know, people that you want us to interview or have on the podcast, please let us know. Please leave us a review. And if you're looking for a marketing partner to grow your practice, if you're at that place in your business right now where you want to take it to the next level, you're ready to start spending money, to start making money, then I want to encourage you to reach out to us. Go to our website at everable.io and send us a message, and we can definitely help you out, guys. Thank you, and
see you next
see you next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.